According to the U.S. Department of State, since 1999, there have been more than 2,500 adoptions from the state of Iowa.
The process can be a happy one, with a family gaining the privilege of providing love for a child. CBS 2's Jason Hackett spoke with two families from opposite ends of the country who say the process was anything but smooth. Jason?
There are literally hundreds of children in Iowa right now who are caught in custody battles. The story of Anthony Jordan gives us a rare inside look at the pain and love involved in what happens to these children and the people who only wish the best for them. The unmistakable sound of a child's laughter. For any parent, it's the perfect soundtrack. But for nearly 3 painful years, it was a sound Anthony Jordan rarely heard.
This time I can't get back for something I didn't do. I didn't do nothing wrong.
On June 6, 2010, Jordan was involved in a domestic dispute when his girlfriend Elizabeth allegedly hit him with a chair. A no-contact order was put in place, and Jordan was forced to leave his 2 sons, Justice and Javon, behind. A few months later, he says he spotted a public notice in the newspaper.
Come to court on September 13th, or your rights will be terminated for your children. She terminated her own rights and pushed to terminate my rights.
Citing a lack of steady contact with the boys, the courts ruled that Jordan had abandoned his children. But months before the decision was made, Justice and Javon were already heading west. In Provo, Utah, Scott and Roxanne Thacker received the call from a local adoption agency.
They had twins who their birth mother was trying to place for adoption.
And so they
bought a minivan, drove across the country 20 hours with our 2 little girls to meet Liz, who is the boy's birth mother, and the boys.
A few weeks later, the boys, now known as Aaron and Elijah, were part of a new family.
We invited them into our home, and we've loved them, and they're our children.
And here's where things got messy. The Thacker's blessing became heartache and anger for Jordan.
My kids were all the way in Provo, Utah. How does kids leave a state without 2 parents' signature?
Locked in a cross-country legal battle, Jordan and the Thackers were also vying for the boys' love.
I have to fight strangers for my own children in America. That's sick to me.
Jordan says 3 years of court battles almost made him give up.
I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to, but I didn't. Because I couldn't.
The Thackers fought just as hard, citing concern for the children's safety.
Can you imagine for a moment leaving your own child ever with someone that you don't think is safe?
Court records show Jordan has a checkered past, including arrests on several drug charges.
I was called a pimp, a killer, a drug dealer, all of the above.
The Thackers say it affects his abilities as a caregiver.
Biology doesn't make you a parent. It never has and it never will. There's a covenant relationship between a child and a parent.
How can you say you would hate to take them from a loving home? Like I live in a crack house or something. Like not like that, but like I was stereotyped. Like don't do me like that.
And on March 28, 2012, the courts agreed and restored Jordan's parental rights and ordered the boys returned. Finally, this week, Jordan and the boys were together again. From the Thackers, a message of caution.
Because if they have to be here, I want to see him step up and do what's best for these kids.
And Jordan says those are his exact plans, and then some.
We'll go fishing, go camping, kick it, go catch some frogs, ride bikes, fall off bikes, crash, scrape ourselves up, get up and try it again. That's what I'm ready for.
After 3 years and 2 states, time has run out for the Thackers.
No matter what happens, we love you.
And a father attempts to make up for what was lost.
Them boys, man, they make me feel good when I see them. For real. For real.
Now, one more note, one of the representatives for the Thackers passed on our contact info in an attempt to reach the boy's birth mother. We didn't hear back from her. Live in the studio, Jason Hackett, CBS 2 News.
Jordan says he will call the boys by their birth names, Justice and Javon.
Scott Thacker says the battle has inspired him to push for a change in the law that would acknowledge children, quote, less as property and more as people.